So Fiki, I'm so happy to be connecting with you again, because I think it's probably been a few months since we stopped
Yeah.
working together. And
Mhm.
I like, now we're friends, right? Right. That's a great thing about my work, is that I work with these incredible women that I want in my life. So so now I'm just watching you fly, and I've invited you to come to this conversation um I really believe in this work that that we did together, and I want other people to partake. I want other women leaders, other CEOs, other directors, other heads like you to come. I want women to really start to do the work to step up their influence and their impact, really own their authority, really step into their power, and really find their voice and start using it for the work of their life, for the work that they're born to do, meant to do, positioned to do. So the way that I think that works best is if you tell them, if people who have been through the process working with me, if they tell them, because that way they know it's not just me tooting my own horn,
Yeah.
even though I do scream from the rooftops about how powerful this work is. It just sounds different when it comes from someone like you who's been through it.
Exactly.
So welcome to the call. Tell us a bit about you.
Thank you. So I'm Fiki Bosch. I manage a radiology department at the Nuffield in New York. And I came to work with Dion because I had been a manager for just a year. And in that year, I was determined to do the best, as we all do. And I felt I had different ways to approach my management. The first one was, well, fake it until you make it, like many people do. But I was very conscious from my Christian work that I wanted to be myself. And then the other temptation I faced was just copy others, but then you become an imposter. And then the third one was, okay, I'm going to engage in a growth. But once you engage there, you get to a place where you can't continue on your own.
Yeah.
I had been doing a leadership course, if you remember, when we got together, and I was
Yeah.
towards the end of this leadership course, and I thought this course surely will get me to be the effective manager that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And I was 2 months from finishing it, and suddenly I panicked and thought, this is not going to help me. That's when I reached out to Dion.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a
Uh,
few things in there. There's a few things in there. Just wait a minute.
mhm,
So a question that I often get asked is, well, Dion, you like, I spoke to a woman recently who told me that she didn't approach me because because she thought I worked with people who were higher in rank than her. So she felt that she couldn't approach me because of my work with board level women. Um
mhm.
and but you didn't feel like that was an impediment, because why?
Because first I had heard you speak in the past in a
Yeah.
conference, probably 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I saw that bit that I may not be the board level that you're talking about, but there was something in me that needed this.
Yeah.
So my need was higher, I think, than anything else that said, that's not the person for you. I knew I needed to work with you.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter where you were dealing with. That's what I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant. So
So
I know that you talk a little bit about you wanting to grow. You talk a little bit about, wanting to be a better manager. But tell us, like, in woman to woman terms, like, what was that time like for you? What was really going on?
first of all, I didn't even know I had authority. Let's start there. I I had such low level thinking of myself that one of the things that got me thinking, my line manager kept saying to me, "You're doing a great job
Yeah.
in the department in turning it around." And I had, but I just didn't believe her.
Yeah.
I didn't believe that I was that capable because I was like you would say I was all in my head, to be
Yeah.
honest. And I despised myself in terms of, I think the biggest for me was the issue of my skin color.
Yeah.
That where I come from, Black people don't lead, they follow, which is really colonial mentality.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was one thing we dealt with bang on. And until I saw that that was the undergirding thinking in my life, I was buried.
Yeah. So when we started working together, I mean, there's so many things I want to ask you because I was there. I was there. Uh, but you know, it was so beautiful watching that realization unfold through our conversation. So tell me about how it was to just to begin this work, like how it was working with me through this process.
From the first session, I think that was was deep digging.
Yeah,
Uh, I was ready. I think you have to be ready for it.
yeah,
Uh, the reason I knew I needed it was I had a coach that was working with me in my leadership,
yeah,
but she was very polite and staying in the surface, and I
yeah,
needed somebody to get to what is the root cause. And
yeah,
from that very first session, you went for the jugular. If I can put it that way. But I was ready to hear it, you see,
yeah,
because you've got to be ready.
yeah,
And because I was ready and you really punched where I needed,
yeah,
we broke something.
yeah,
I physically was sick, if you remember, after that,
yeah,
that
yeah,
first 2 hours.
yeah. Ooh, it's really,
Because there are things we hold in
yeah,
which we even make an identity out of ourselves.
yeah,
And we get so caught up in it that we can't see the wood from the trees. I
yeah,
had no idea I was an excellent manager. I had no idea I was a very good leader. I
yeah.
had no idea I was influential. All
Wow.
of that I had impact to people because it was clouded. But breaking those foundations
Yeah,
actually brought me to say, who am I not to do this?
yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. So we had some real powerful conversations. Is it what
Mhm.
you were expecting when we started working together?
I think I wasn't expecting it, but I knew I needed.
Yeah,
I knew I needed. I didn't know how it would come.
yeah.
Mm.
So, what I mean, let me see what I want to ask you. You talked a little bit about what you've learned about yourself through the process. Let's talk about the actual process because we worked through what I call the influential power plan.
Yeah.
So, so it was like that was born out of of my wrestling with what do these women need to leave me with so that they can
Mhm.
continue to work through. So how was working through the 15 elements of the process, you know, the actual document, the like how was that, how what did you discover about yourself working through the process, and how beneficial was it?
So, the process gave me a roadmap
Yeah,
because from where I stood at the beginning, I was, like I've said, I was all very mixed up.
yeah,
And I remember you saying, this is the path to sitting on a throne.
yeah,
And I struggled to sit on that throne. But
yes,
that visual started to give me the direction and something to aspire towards. Because when you are low level thinking of yourself, you can't imagine yourself sitting on a throne even.
yes, yeah.
So that visual gave me a roadmap. And I,
I'm excited about that throne because I mean I've been having these conversations with some of
mm,
my other clients, and
yeah,
it's the same that same thing, you know, that this that picture of a throne and you suggesting that I sit
yeah,
on it, like that is that's challenging for a lot of the women that I'm speaking with, and yet I know that in my own journey, like that's it. Like that's what I'm here to help women to understand about themselves, their
mm,
sovereignty in their space, their the call to reign and to rule
mm,
their domain. So we discovered your domain, didn't we?
yes, we did.
So what was that?
My domain is healthcare,
Yeah,
but it's leading in a way that we bring a certain. It's managing people in a way that will release them
yeah,
to do things not because they are forced to do it,
Yeah.
but because we've ignited something inside of them.
Yeah.
And the way we receive people will either make them follow the rules and turn up for work and do the boring work, or we
Yeah.
can actually unlock the same potential this power path unlocked in me.
Yeah. Yes.
So once I understood that I have this, I understood everybody else has it.
Yes. And so
And
what's your missions as a result?
so my mission really in the healthcare setup is to bring a cultural revolution through a way we manage people.
Yeah. Wow.
And that will bring excellence in a way that throwing money and more equipment is never going to do.
Yes. Yeah. I just remember there were tears, there were it was deep emotion when we understood that it was about operational excellence and that
Mm.
it was about a cultural revolution. Like those things were, I mean, the process really, really brought those out of you in such a beautiful way. Do you remember how it felt when you began to see clearly that this was what you were here to do?
Oh, yes, I remember because before that, I kept saying, but what is my message?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even have a message, and I was panicking. But
Yeah.
once it broke through, it ticks everything that my natural giftings are actually.
Yeah.
In order for me to usher in this movement, which is what one of my colleagues called it to me, she
Yeah.
said, we need to make this a movement.
Yes. Yes.
I have to embody it. And through the process, I learned about my high emotional intelligence, how quickly I
Yeah.
connect with people and why.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
passion is very easy for me to spread it around. Uh, and my compassion, I'm very compassionate. And
Yeah.
again, these are the things that I began to see as we walk
Yeah,
the
but you but
path.
you know, the things that I remember, the things that really stick out for me is your regalness and your strength of authority. Like you have a very commanding presence and um and there's a call on your life to lead from the very highest platforms. Like this became clear as we did this work, right? Did you see that coming?
And I think if I can say, if there's the biggest thing, it was
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Because people see you, but if you have low level thinking about yourself, you don't see you.
Yes.
So I would walk into a room those days, and people would feel this, which you've just described, this rigor, this demeanor.
Yeah.
But because inside of me, I didn't match
Yeah.
who I'm born to be, I
Yeah.
would then cower. So it created confusion. How
Yeah.
is it that the one who walked in and we felt this power walking and suddenly has disappeared?
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
because you were doing a
it's
lot of sabotaging, weren't you?
exactly, yeah.
And we're laughing at it, but it's a real thing, and it's like
Yeah.
I'm this is I say, somebody asked me yesterday who I work with, and I said I work with women in leadership, board level leadership, women who are part of those conversations that are shaping culture, part of those
Mm.
conversations that are deciding the agenda, setting the priorities. And you really were at those meetings. You were part of those meetings, but you described that you didn't feel like you were fully showing up in those meetings, right?
No, I felt I didn't belong there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
But once you see what you carry,
Yeah.
then you know you need to be there.
How are you showing up differently now that we've done this work?
So now, once I knew what my calling is, which is really operational excellence through a cultural revolution,
Yeah.
I started to talk about it. Excuse me. I think one of the sessions you and I had towards the end was this pregnancy will grow as you give out.
Yes, that's right.
So I started telling a few people about what I really saw in terms of how we can improve operational excellence at work.
Yeah.
I joined a book club. There's 4 managers, and one of the girls I started telling about, you know, how I see things. And she said to me, you should be on TED Talk.
Ah.
And then she said to me, wait a minute, actually, you are going to do a webinar.
Yeah.
And I took up her offer. So I invited her, I invited my line manager and three, I think it was at the end, 8 heads of department and 1 senior manager. And I gave the talk. And that has set a fire that I'm being invited to other hospitals to talk about operational excellence in healthcare.
Yeah. So you're
And
making a name for yourself.
I've made a name for myself, but I'm being known for operational excellence. I'm speaking 22nd of November on a national level
Yeah.
within my organization.
Yeah.
Now, if I look at before you and I met, I would have never imagined I have something to say,
Yeah.
something so powerful to say
Yeah.
to people,
Yeah.
something that can change a work culture and impact how we care for patients, because that's my passion.
Yeah.
And to be able to sit on the table and usher in something that can really be a movement is
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah,
So
yeah.
this fills my heart, because I think that I'm very aware personally from my experience at board level, feeling very similar to the way that you felt, and through my work working with not just you but other women at board level who are feeling the same way, sitting at the table, questioning their right to be there, questioning whether they're
Mhm.
authorized, questioning whether they've got something to say, all up in their heads, because they're afraid to be getting it wrong, not sure about what their well thought out, carefully put together professional point of view is, which
Mm.
we worked extensively on to develop yours. And you know, this you can't begin to make the difference if you're sitting at the table. That just being at the table, I know representation really
Mm.
matters, but just being at the table is not enough.
Is
Like
that enough?
if what's
No.
going on inside of you is all of that, those BFDLs, those big fat
Hmm.
dirty lies, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really, really honored that we got a chance to iron out some of those lies and really begin to clarify and crystallize who you are in your
Mm.
true, authentic leadership identity, and what it is that you have to see for your space as as a sovereign in your space. You have this vision for operational excellence and a cultural revolution that I was so honored to be able to help you to articulate and see and develop and own and conceive and be pregnant with. Ooh. And then, you know, and then create a plan for your influence of that,
Mm.
to create a plan for you to have the words to be able to speak, to have the words to be able to post, to have the words to be able to articulate what you are carrying. Like this, it's just such an honor for me to be able to be part of this partnership that we created.
To me, it was like a rebirth. I saw a quote, I don't know who said it. It said there are 2 important days: the day you were born
Yeah.
and the day you discover the why.
Yes. Yeah.
The process you and I did together made me discover the why.
Yeah.
And my life will never be the same. Now I think of possibilities that in the past I would have thought, but who are you to think like that?
Yeah.
Uh, I thought of very low level projects, but now that I'm aware
Yeah.
uh, of who I really am,
Yeah.
I don't have to stay in this low level thinking.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So you know, it's quite a hefty investment, and I know that so many people who are sat at the table feeling the way that how you felt really, you know, it's challenging to make that type of investment, and you made the investment. So I want you to explain why you think it's important to invest in this type of process and what the return on the investment is.
I think when you don't value yourself, first of all,
Yeah.
um, you don't value putting money onto your growth.
Yeah.
But once you do, you realize I should have paid even so much more, because there is no amount of money you can put to liberating yourself.
Yes, yeah. Wow. Well, that's lovely to hear you saying that. And the return on the investment? Oh, are you gone? Um, you recorded. Yeah, so we just had a little tech blip there, and so welcome back. I don't remember what we were talking about, but I remember
We're
the
talking
feeling.
about the investment,
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
return
yeah,
on investment.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so tell
Yeah.
me, tell me
Yeah.
what
And
sort
I
of
had,
things. Go on.
so what I was saying is, when you don't value yourself, you
Yeah,
think investing that sort of money in your growth is selfish.
yeah,
And I think this is a real deception. And it's part of the inferiority, it's part of us being afraid of our power.
yeah,
And once I did, I would say to anybody, there is no value to your liberty.
mm,
There is no value to stripping all the things that we all collect along the way of life, and bringing the clarity of who you are, your DNA, and why you are here. And yeah, I couldn't, yeah, I couldn't hold back on this one.
okay, good. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
And you know, because it is
yeah.
such a thing. It is such a thing.
Mm.
People, you know, it's really. I was speaking to one of my clients, Dr. Lucy, just recently, and she was saying exactly the same thing. It was just hard for her to even come to just letting go of that money to.
Yeah. Mm.
So anyway, I'm glad that you think it was worth the investment and that you got something back, like some of the tangible things that you got back from that. And just to finish off, I'd just like you to talk about me and about how I am as a coach, and you know how you found the whole process of actually engaging with me. And I'm not paying you for this, so you can just you can say what you like.
I can say what I like here. I think, not I think, what I do know is you have a gift. I said in the beginning, you go for the jugular. It takes a certain courage and love uh, to see the real person and cause them pain so that they can see themselves.
Yeah, gosh,
And
Margaret.
that is your gift. Because many people will think, oh, if I say that to her, I'm going to hurt her.
Yeah,
I'm going to cause her pain. But to remove chains that have been cemented and rusted on us, it requires pain. And you
yeah,
have that courage and you don't hold back. You also have a sensitivity. I remember in some of the calls would be stuck. It's a sensitivity and the tenacity, I'd say. I'd be stuck and I would be tired and drained. But you would push us until we go to a place where, I think the word used was seller, that today is
yeah.
finished. So
Mhm.
you carried me through some sessions until we go to the reason for that session.
Yes.
And I found that um, I, I think that's love and commitment, and you have that gift. And you've not paid me to say this, that
No.
it's something I experienced, and absolutely you're in the right job with and you're endowed with the gifts for it.
Yes, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
with
Mhm.
with you sharing this, because I've accepted that about my work, and I'm so passionate about. Somebody asked once, you know, what would you do if you had the cure for cancer? What would you do if you had the cure for cancer? Would
Mhm.
you keep it to yourself, or would you scream it from the rooftops, no matter how you felt about the rooftops? And it's like, you know, I feel like, oh, I haven't got the cure for cancer, but I do have the cure for broken self-perception. And I do have the cure for low self-esteem in senior leadership. and I do have the cure for radical repowerment of women. Like I know how
Mm,
to do this. So you saying that, I'm hoping will just inspire more and more women to, especially women who are part of those conversations that are shaping culture,
yeah.
that are
Mm,
really making important decisions that affect society,
yeah.
that
Mm,
these women follow your example and dare to admit that they know that they don't like the way that they're showing up, admit that they know that
mm,
they're doubtful about the way that they're coming across, and dissatisfied with the level of influence and impact that they're having at these tables and in these conversations and in these roles, because that's, I think, how we're going to change our world.
yeah. Mm.
I want
And
to have,
when this becomes something that is spoken about openly,
yeah,
it would break a lot of chains. I
yeah,
mean, when I look at the impact of our work together in my workplace, in my relationships,
yeah,
in the people that I manage,
yeah,
it's you can't imagine the ripple effect.
yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who's thinking about seeking extra help and maybe investing in this influential power plan for themselves?
I would without doubt say do it, do it, do it. Because where you stand in that doubt, you don't yet see.
Mm.
You have to step into it
Yeah,
by looking at people like me who've gone through it. Because I stood there once and I did it. I thought, oh, it's too much to pay. But I was in pain inside. And until I did it, I didn't see the value. So do it. You don't have to see the full picture, do it.
that's wonderful. Well, you spoke about love earlier on. You spoke about my work, um, you spoke about my work feeling like love, and it's true. It is love, it is passion, it is a strong conviction for the woman that I see prophetically when you can't see yourself. And so I'm
Mm,
just grateful for the opportunity to have one worked with you, one met you, the woman that you were when you came, two, to be partners with you as you evolved into the woman that you are now, and three, for the friendship that we have going forward. I'm just grateful.
oh, so am I. Absolutely. Absolutely. You've changed my world.
Thank you,
We
Fiki.
changed it together. Yeah. Really changed it.
Yes, yes, thank
Fantastic.
you.
Yeah. We'll do that hike one day together.
That's for sure.
Mhm.
Let me stop the recording. Bear with me.
Okay.